Okay, let's talk about perfection. Not the kind you see in highlight reels or Instagram posts, real, blood and sweat and tears perfection in sports. You know, the kind that feels almost too cinematic to be true. Like, how does a horse come back from a career-threatening injury, face down a muddy track she supposedly hates, get boxed in during the biggest race of her life, and still pull off a miracle finish? That's the story of Personal Ensign at the 1988 Breeders Cup Distaff. And honestly, it's not just about horse racing. It's about resilience, legacy, and why we're obsessed with the idea of unbeaten in the first place. Let me back up. Imagine being a trainer whose entire identity is tied to one horse. Shug McGaughey basically admits it. He says prepping Personal Ensign every morning was his whole routine. Then she breaks her leg. Vets say maybe she'll race again, and you're thinking, sure, and I'll win the Derby on a Shetland pony. But here's the twist, not only does she come back, she goes 12-0 post-injury. 12. 0 losses. So now you're not just dealing with a horse, you're dealing with a myth. And myths come with pressure. Massive pressure. Especially when you know this 13th race is her last act. What if it all falls apart? Now, the distaff itself. Absolute chaos. Winning colors, the Kentucky Derby winner, is leading by 2.5 lengths on a track that's sucking the life out of every horse. Personal Ensign is wide, stuck in traffic, and her jockey Randy Romero says she's not liking the mud. Classic setup for a nearly great story, right? Except, she doesn't lose. She fights through everything to win by a nose. And here's what cracks me up. The trainer says he didn't think she had a shot until literally 5 strides before the finish. 5 strides. That's like telling your QB to audible into a Hail Mary with no timeouts left, and it works. But what does this say about how we judge greatness? Because this wasn't her best race by stats, she didn't dominate. She survived. And that's why people still talk about her like she's some equine superhero. Wait, let's dissect this. Why do we value unbeaten records so much? I mean, Secretariat was faster. Man-O' War was more dominant. But Personal Ensign's 13-0. That's perfect. And perfection is fragile. It only takes any loss to break it. Which makes every start a high-stakes drama. You're not just watching a race, you're watching someone balance on a tightrope over a pit of what ifs. Did she win because she's the best? Or because she had something to prove? Or maybe because we needed her to win? The crowd goes nuts not because of how she won, but because she didn't let perfection slip away. That's the real spectacle here. And here's a wild thought. What if this race actually elevated her legacy more than the flawless record? Because let's face it, if she'd coasted to an easy win, would we still be talking about her 35 years later? Probably not. It's the struggle that sticks. The mud. The traffic. The doubt. That moment where even her trainer thought game over, but she didn't. So was this a story about a horse? Or was it about how we cling to narratives of triumph in the face of collapse? Either way, she didn't just win a race. She became a symbol. And symbols, they are forever. So here's my take. Personal Ensign's distaff finish isn't just one of the greatest horse racing moments. It's a masterclass in why we love sports. Because it's not about inevitability, it's about defying the odds when it matters most. And if you take a step back, that's the template for every underdog story ever told. Mud, traffic, injuries, we've all got our track conditions working against us. But hey, If a 1,000-pound mare can stare down career-ending hardware in the leg and say not today, maybe the rest of us can fight through our own messes too. What do you think? Drop a comment. Did she earn that legend status? Or are we romanticizing a really good horse?